and in light of that, beforehand that probably would have been a problem, but now with all the procedures that are available to someone who's not getting sperm out, it's quite exciting. I'm stoked to be still in the game. Yeah, I'd sort of done it, had a test, and I guess I was still under the illusion that when my urologist told me that I had to look at other ways to get pregnant, or have children, and I heard at the time that I couldn't have kids. I guess that made it easier for me to deal with, I guess, my situation with the cancer and the surgery and all that sort of thing. It was just easier to, I don't know, opt for that tact. As I mentioned, I've always sort of wondered whether I could have kids, and then the cancer and the what the doctor said there, and a previous relationship. I ended up having a sperm sample taken, and it came back negative, or none present. And I think when I met Laura, I just I'd sort of made a pact that that the truth was the best. Truth and honesty was the best policy, and just it was like our second. Well, we can't even call it our first date. Second, there was like our second catch up that I told you, because we can't call them dates until that. The first date was us driving back from Sydney. No, really.
Oh.
Really, our first real date was, but I told you sort of when we were sitting down on the bench at Lakeside.
You told me up on the roof.
I told you down. No, I didn't. Sure, it was at the lake.
First kiss was on the roof.
First kiss was on the
roof.
Come on, get your timeline right. So it was the second time we went for a walk, and quite funny, just chatting. We were sitting down at Lakeside by the lake there, and we were just sitting, just talking, getting to know each other. And I basically just blurted out. I said, no, that's not it. Let me just go backwards. Laura asked me, we were talking about kids, and Laura asked, because I do a lot of work with youth, and then Laura asked me, do you want kids? And I said, yeah, I'd love kids, but I don't think I can have them. And it's funny because it set me off. This set me off on a whole new tangent, a new journey, for want of a better word. She asked me, well, is that really true? And I had always taken the doctor's words as gospel and people's words as gospel, and since my surgery, and thinking what I heard was that I couldn't have kids, and then I'd had that specimen sample come back zero, nothing present, and I thought that was it. Like, if there's nothing present, then I can't have kids, and then I've just told Laura this, and then she's come back with a simple question. Is that really true? And I answered, I said, well, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. So we just ended up chatting about all this other stuff, and and she went on her way, and I sort of, but that sort of sat with me at home and over the next few days. So the next couple of days, I made an appointment to see a doctor, and I started to explore different avenues or possibilities that there actually are for men to find sperm if there's none coming out in the ejaculate. And yeah, off I go on this whirlwind, and then I find a doctor. All the time I was talking to Laura about this, I just sort of said, but she sort of went, oh, you sort of cracked on going and looking at this stuff. And I said, well, I want to find out whether this is a possibility. And jumped on the net, sort of found the closest one. I had to go down, I think the next part of that process is a fine needle aspiration, which is what I had. So there's nothing coming out, so what we're doing is we're actually going into the testicle with a needle, with view to, it's a blind procedure, meaning you actually can't see what the outcome's going to be. So you're actually just going into the testicle, and then they draw the needle. Loads of fun, by the way. There's a needle with a tube and a syringe. They put the needle in, and then they apply suction to the syringe, and as they draw the needle out, with the hope that you get some sperm, that you actually drag it through the spots that are meant to provide sperm. I believe we went. I ended up doing it 3 times. So the first time went through. They send off whatever they got, the specimen, and there was nothing in there. And then they did it again, one more time, and then there was nothing in that one. And then he said, "Do you want to go again?" And I just went, "Well, why not? Let's just get into it." And he looked at me. And and the doc's just gone, "Oh, I couldn't do this," and we just sort of burst into laughter. And the third one actually came back with 1 immotile sperm, which I guess was positive for me. At least where there's one, there must be many type thing. That was very cool. That was cool to see. So they're either in there hiding and can't get out, and we just got to go looking for them. So from that place, that was awesome. That felt great. I was just so pumped to actually see that there was some in there, because obviously with IVF, the swimming part of the sperm is not as important, seeing as not as important as obviously the DNA part, which can be helped get to the egg. After that fine needle aspiration, we met with the doctor as well. After that FNA, we found out about the results, and then basically the doc says to skip the biopsy portion, which would only leave more scarring to the one testy I have left. So instead of doing multiple procedures, they just go straight to what they call a micro tessie, which they go in and under microscope they actually go in and extract all the good stuff that they need to hopefully make a baby. That is another story.